Hey mamas, you're listening to Growing God's Gifts with Kira St. Pierre, where I will encourage you, speak life over you, and give you valuable tools to help you nurture and grow the beautiful gifts God has given you. Growth begins with the tiniest of seeds. So come on, girl, let's embrace the power of growth and start planting those seeds together. Welcome back to Growing God's Gifts with Kira St. Pierre. Today we will be reading chapter 26 of Secrets of the Secret Place, called The Secret of Boredom. Ever get bored while praying? If we're to be truthful, every one of us has been bored in the secret place. Here's the next little secret that this book is going to reveal with consummate eloquence. Everybody gets bored in their personal prayer life and Bible reading. Even the 12 apostles of the Lamb fell asleep in the place of prayer in Matthew 26, 40 through 45. There are some days when I seem to have an especially good connection with God. On those days, I often think, why isn't it like this all the time? But in reality, there are a lot of deadpan days mixed in with the great ones. Some days I am so looking forward to my time with the Lord, only to sleep right through the entire time. Other times I seem to be awake enough. It's just that there's no wind of the Spirit blowing on this particular day for me. No matter what I read or how fervently I pray, this one seems destined to be a dud. And I'm not alone. When I talk with others, I realize this is a common experience of weak human beings who, in their brokenness and frailty, are continually falling short of the kind of connection with God for which their hearts yearn. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. Jesus spoke these words directly related to prayer. Matthew 26:41. So what should we do when we're bored? Do it anyway. Persevere. Do the time, grind it out, bite the bullet. Allow nothing to dissuade or deter you, boredom included. Sometimes along the way, we need to make a determined life decision. I am devoting myself by God's grace to the secret place, come rain or shine, good days or bad days, when I feel like it or when I don't feel like it, when it's easy and when it's hard. When you figure in God's grace, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. The Lord responds to sincere cries of, "Help!" When we are feeling especially weak, that's the time to reach out to Him for the abundance of His grace. Likewise, the Spirit also helps in our weaknesses, for we do not know what we should pray for as we ought, but the Spirit Himself makes intercession for us with groanings which cannot be uttered. Romans 8:26. Jesus called the Holy Spirit the Helper. John 14:16 and verse 26, 15 and verse 26, 16 and verse 7, because He was given to us to help us in our times of weakness and need. Call on your helper. Holy Spirit, I need you right now. Help. He will come to your aid because He loves to help us pray. When I fall asleep in the secret place, I don't allow the enemy to use that against me. I just see myself as His little child, curled up in His lap, so at peace with Him that I am resting in childlike simplicity in His arms. I imagine the Lord using that time to gaze upon me and enjoy the warmth of our nearness. I could have fallen asleep elsewhere, but I chose to do it in His arms. I am writing this chapter primarily to diffuse the enemy's schemes to burden you with the guilt and shame as regards your secret life with God. He tries to tell you that you're a failure or a hypocrite, when, in reality, you're walking the same pilgrimage that the greatest saints of history have traversed before you. To put it bluntly, sometimes prayer is boring, and Bible reading is like eating dust. But here's the good part. One day of exhilaration in the Holy Spirit is worth 1,000 days of struggle. For a day in your courts is better than 1,000. Psalm 84:10. It's really true. Once God touches you with His Spirit and energizes you with His Word, you are hopelessly hooked. You don't care how long this desert might last. You don't care how long this desert might last. You're going to keep walking because you know on the other side is an oasis of heavenly delights. Now here's even better news. The more you persevere in the secret place, the very nature of your relationship with the Lord begins to change, and the bad days get fewer and further in between. There's a threshold to cross in which, once you cross it, the thrill of the secret place grabs your spirit and you gain unparalleled momentum in connecting with God. The point is, if you stay with it, eventually you'll hit pay dirt. Eventually the breakthrough will come. There may be a lot of boring hours between here and there, but don't quit. The greatest things in life, those things that carry eternal value, always come at the steepest price. Boredom, small price to pay. I have definitely struggled with boredom in my secret place a time or two. I even recently in my journals, I can see by my writing kind of where I'm at. That's why I love journaling. So if you haven't discovered the gift that is journaling, I suggest you get into it. You express your emotions, you put it all down on paper, whatever you're feeling, whatever you're not feeling for that matter. You put it on paper, and it's so neat to be able to go back and read through your journal to see where God brought you in and through and from. It's just so neat. And anyways, all of that to say that lately in my quiet times, my journal is, God, where are you? I'm sitting here and there's nothing here. And why am I just sitting here? And this chapter really reminded me that it's okay, that it's okay to have those quiet times where there is not a whole lot going on and where I am just saying, okay, Lord, I'm here. I showed up. And just being obedient to that quiet place, being faithful to that relationship with Him. And I think that is the most important aspect of that, regardless of what happens or doesn't happen in that quiet time every morning. The perseverance, the faithfulness, the obedience, that's what builds that trust in a relationship, is continuing on even when you don't feel like it. I mean, the same goes for like our relationships and our marriages and our, even with our kids. Like, you know, sometimes you don't really have anything to talk about with your spouse, and sometimes it can get boring, and sometimes it can not be the most fun all the time. But we're not going to just get up and leave. I mean, we're going to stick it through because we know that we love this person. We know that we've committed to this relationship. We know that there have been good times and there will be good times. And this just happens to be a little boring spot. And it's important to persevere through those things and continue pursuing each other in that relationship. I think the same thing goes for our relationship with God. Even when you're bored, even when you're not hearing from Him as clearly or not hearing from Him at all, you still get there and nourish that relationship, even through those bored moments. Anyway, that's my 2 cents for the day. I hope y'all have a wonderfully blessed week, and I look forward to hanging with you guys on the next episode. Thank y'all so much for tuning into today's show. I love getting to hang out with y'all. When you have a second, please go tap that subscribe button on Spotify if you haven't already, so you don't miss the next episode. If you would like to stay connected, come follow me on my Facebook page at Growing God's Gifts. I would love to hear from you and get to know you a little better. If you are interested in supporting me, you can make donations through Spotify or through buymeacoffee.com/GrowGod'sGifts. Or of course, sharing, rating, and reviewing me on social media is always greatly appreciated. I will post the relevant links in the show notes for you. Please join me again next week as we continue growing God's gifts together.